Kate, we've seen thousands of ICE agents being deployed on the streets of Minneapolis, and this is ostensibly about immigration. We've seen this immigration crackdown being carried out by these ICE agents very, very aggressively, and it's resulted, as we've just been reporting, in the deaths of 2 people just this month. It's also resulted in mass demonstrations in Minneapolis. But we've also seen clear cases of racial profiling, and as you have pointed out on social media, it seems the ICE agents go after people who have an accent that is not, I guess, would be considered American. Is this administration following the law?
Well, the Supreme Court actually issued a decision that only applied to California several months ago, in which they said essentially that ICE could use something like someone's color of their skin or their type of work that they do or their accent. So unfortunately, that sent a message to ICE and CBP that they could racially profile, even though that's not the application of the case. We've seen video of ICE agents and CBP agents claiming out in the streets that they can racially profile or use their accents. So we know that that is happening, but we also know, I mean, as we've seen in the case of Renee and Alex, that they are just going after anyone out on the streets. They're not going after dangerous people with criminal histories. And then when people come out and exercise their legal right to record or be present or witness an incident, they can be killed now. And then right after the fact, accused of, even just in the previous interview with Jaden, impeding law enforcement. That's not accurate. I mean, one could, I think, disagree about what Renee was doing with her car. Well, now the evidence is clear. You look at the video with Alex, he was holding a phone in his hand. He was not interfering. He did not actively reach out or get in front of an officer. He was on his hands and knees, and they shot him in the back of the head 10 times after they had disarmed him. So I also think that we need to be rejecting these talking points about protesters trying to impede law enforcement. That's not what these peaceful protesters are doing. They are merely witnessing law enforcement out there on the streets, which is completely legal. And I encourage people to continue to do it, because it is precisely this evidence that doesn't allow the administration to lie to us, even though that they've attempted to do it. We can all see what happened with our own eyes.
And Kate, what about, as you point out, you know, they're going after everyone on the streets. I mean, what about the case of the 5-year-old boy who was taken by ICE? There's also a case of a 2-year-old girl who was seized and flown to Texas. She was subsequently returned to her mother. But what is behind that?
I mean, let me just say, I've been an immigration lawyer for 20 years. I've worked on many, many cases of children being detained and separated from their families, and I have seen this stuff up close. That little 5-year-old boy, again, there were lies about his dad left him and fled. That didn't happen. They detained him and his dad outside their home. Meanwhile, the mother was inside the house, and they were trying to lure her out of the house. She didn't come out, presumably because she was afraid. And we find out that 20 minutes later, her other child came home. And I can only imagine this mother standing inside her house, peering out the window, looking at her husband and her 5-year-old, who entered the country lawfully, by the way. They applied for asylum and they were admitted into the country. Imagine her looking out the window, being lured out and having to say, no, I can't come outside right now because my other son is about to come home. And then the administration detains this husband and this little boy who's wearing a little bunny hat, because his name is Conejo, which means bunny in Spanish. And they take him into detention, and this mother is home waiting for her other child. It's unimaginable cruelty. It is unacceptable. And then you add on the layer where they come out and they claim that this father abandoned his child. The way that they vilify these people after the fact is unacceptable. And again, I'm so glad that Minnesotans and others are brave enough to record these events so that we all know the truth and we can't be lied to over and over by this administration.
Kate, I just want to get your view on what it's like as a lawyer representing clients in immigration cases, what it's like to represent them in court and then get decisions that are handed down. I mean, are those decisions, those court orders, do ICE abide by them?
You know, we've lost justice in this country. When the election first happened and I started giving community presentations so that people could understand their rights under the Fifth Amendment and the Fourth Amendment, it almost was like, oh, we were so naive. We were telling everybody what their rights were, assuming that their constitutional protections and their human rights would be followed. And now when I talk to my clients and I give community presentations, instead it's, these are your rights. We should expect them to be violated. And here's how we need to gather evidence so that hopefully we can obtain justice later. The latest of that is the whistleblower memo that tells ICE agents they can enter people's homes without a judicial warrant. And what is one expected to do with that other than have a really good automatic camera on your front porch that can record these agents storming into your door without a warrant? And the reality is we have an administration that is consistently violating people's rights, not following many, many court orders, and our country is at a very dangerous point. And I have to say, as a Texan, I am somewhat relieved to see people like Governor Abbott and Senator Cruz, who have been very complicit with Trump, finally speak out. And I'm sad that it took the murder of Alex to get us here, but perhaps we have some sanity coming back to this nation right now.